Hi folks, I'm Schrodinger's cat, and welcome to my video. I've heard a lot of talk recently about how avionic charts and nautical charts are based on a flat earth and couldn't possibly be based on a globe. Well, I've got a little something to say about that. And then on top of that, I hear that this is happening. Flat Earth cruise. But they're going to have a problem because the captain and the officers on that ship are going to be using these. And these are nautical charts. This one in particular is of Hampton Roads. As you can see here, it's chart 12245 of Hampton Roads. And there's the scale. It's a 1 to 20,000 reference. Now, to be helping me out today, I've got Jay Brown. He was a quartermaster in the Navy. He's a navigation expert, so he's bringing a lot to the table.
Thank you, Schrodinger's cat, for the introduction. Again, this is Jay with Jay's Politics Podcast. As you may know, that I used to be in the Navy as a navigation electronics technician or quartermaster. Depending on how you want to look at it. I had 3 jobs in one of them being quartermaster. And we did use the magnetic compasses as I'm pointing to on the chart, but you can't see. I'll show that here in just a minute. I'm going to throw it back over to Schrodinger.
So a little bit about myself. I am a retired naval officer. I spent a good deal of my career driving Navy ships. I'm very familiar with this harbor, because this is the one that I always came in and out of. So if we look at this chart, there's something called a compass rose. That's one. That's one. We've got one over here. And we got one right there. So why do we need 4 of them? We use the compass rose to look at our heading, and it tells us the course that we're on. Something like that. So you use the compass rose closest to where you're going, or to where you're at. Say we're here in the Thimble Shoal channel. Right there, Thimble Shoal channel. This would be the entrance approaching the harbor. So take a look at, here's your channel right here. That's the width of it. And then let's come down here and look at our scale right there. You can see that about 400 yards wide. Let's look at our depths here. Get as close as I can. These depths are in feet. Okay. So about 70 feet there, about 41 there. And way out here you got 17. And up here you got about 24. Well, one of the ships that I drove was a 40,000 ton LHD warship, and it had a 30-foot draft. So you can see the problem if you run into 17-foot depth. There south of the channel, there were the 24 feet north of the channel. You're going to have an issue. So it's very important that you stay in the center of that channel. So you need to know your heading. So we got a compass rose here. If we're here, we're going to use this one. Well, let's say we come way to the other end of the chart, and you got this one. So if you're going to sail up towards Newport News Shipyard, you're going to use the one closest to you. Why? Why do we need to use the one closest to us? Because magnetic north and true north, see these lines I popped across here, are right up to aligned with magnetic north, not to be confused with true north. Now I popped this other line here, magnetic north. And so I didn't have the proper, what we call a Weems tool. So I used the piece of string just pulled tight. And you can see there where I measured how far apart they are. And then I came all the way down here at the edge where it runs off the page and measured that. What I came up with is that. So on the northern end of the chart, those lines are 65.5 centimeters apart. On the southern end, they're 65.6 meters apart. If the Earth was flat, those lines would be parallel. On a globe, since we're in the northern hemisphere, they would converge as you go north, exactly like what's happening here. So at this point, I know that Jay Brown has some points that he wants to make. He knows a lot more about this than I do. He can probably bring a lot more to the table. Before I go, just want to show you, in case any flat earthers, especially Anthony Riley, happen to see this video. Take a look at that, Anthony. That's how you geometry.
Thank you, Schrodinger. Just like you said, the compass roses are actually tied directly to the latitude lines. And how I get that's what you're meaning is that the compass roses over here and the one that was further this way in the corner were off by 1/10 of a centimeter. Up here was up at the top towards me was shorter than the distance down here at the bottom of the chart. And that's because the charts are designed based upon the globe. The globe, as you go further north, the lines of latitude get closer and closer together. The general rule of thumb is that 1 minute, let me get my dividers out here. Sorry. That distance, 1 minute, is equal to 1 nautical mile. A degree is supposed to be 60 nautical miles. From the equator to the first degree, that is accurate. After that, it's really just a measurement tool that we use, and it's to provide us with an idea of where we're at and how to factor in with things like set and drift when you're going through a channel, as you get rivers. And the ebbs and flows of the tides coming in and out. It's a much more advanced concept to go over, but I just thought I would briefly mention that. I just want to say thank you, Schrodinger, for willing to collaborate with me on this. I really am enjoying this, and hopefully we can do more of these. Let me just rotate this back up here. All right. Sorry about that. The joys of webcams, right, guys? Anyways, like I was saying, I really hope that we can do more of these. We can actually enjoy. We can actually educate people on how nautical charts and aeronautical charts are used. Maybe we can get Wolfie to go in on this as well and discuss how paper charts were and how paper charts are actually and how aviation charts are used nowadays, and if it's along the same lines as far as navigation goes. I know a lot of the things that we do on and in the water is very similar to what they do in the airplanes. Not exactly the same, but maybe we can get Wolfie in on this. But anyways, I'm Jay. Thanks for watching this. I'm going to head it back over to Schrodinger.
All right. Thanks for watching. hit the like. Go to Conspiracy Cats and sub him. Go to Fight the Flat Earth and sub him, as well as Red's Rhetoric, Jay Brown, all of the other folks who are really fighting the good fight. I appreciate it, and thank you, Jay Brown, for the help, and have a good day.